Venus is the goddess of love. And I thought that today would be a perfect day to talk about Venus in the birth chart, how we see her astrologically showing up for all of us, because there is this lovely Mercury Venus conjunction in Capricorn happening right now as we speak. And it is my exact Mercury return today. And I feel the channel opening, and I'm so grateful that you've joined me for my live here on the Trust Psyche YouTube channel. I'm Jessica DiRuzza, and we're going to take a Venusian journey together today. I just want to take a moment to tune into our hearts and to feel that vibration, because I feel like when we do that, we are able to open to Eros. We are able to open to the sensual pleasures and beauty and joy that Venus is. She is the goddess of love and beauty. And today we honor her by tuning into her frequency and invoking her essence and her presence. And I would love for you just to take a moment here with me to go ahead and do that together. Just a couple deep breaths. Coming into the body, coming into the senses, and coming into our heart space. Today, I'm going to speak from my passion and my truth as a lover. I am a lover. I was born a lover. I will die a lover. Being a lover is in my nature. It is in my soul. And it is something that I cherish the most about myself. And it's, I think, why I'm actually qualified to be able to talk about Venus in this way in the birth chart, and the insights that I've seen over the last 15 years of giving astrological readings and seeing what the love journey is for so many different kinds of people. In short, I think we can look to the birth chart and the placement of where Venus is in your birth chart to understand your love journey. And by that, I mean, we look at the other planets that are in relationship to Venus, we look at the sign and the house that she's in to give us the story that she wants to live through you and through your love, through your heart and through your relationships. And I'm going to be focusing a lot today on romance, but of course, we know that this is all relationship, including friendship. For full transparency, my Venus is in the sign of Sagittarius. It's a fire Venus, and it's in the ninth house. It's in a really tight trine to Mars, and it's in a wide conjunction to Saturn. When we look at where Venus is in the birth chart, I think it shows us where we fall in love. It actually can show us the place that our love story takes place. When we tune into her placement, she is speaking to us about how and where and with whom we find love. By the age of 5, I knew that I would find true love. I knew that I would find my life partner. At that same time, I was facilitating as many marriages as I could on the playground. I wanted everybody to marry each other, and often got called into the principal's office because the teachers thought that it was inappropriate that I wanted everyone to get married. I dated as many of the boys in my grade as I possibly could. My first official date was when I was 6. The love of my life at that time, Jonathan, he and I would speak on the phone every day after school. I would get home and I'd run to the phone and I'd call his house, and I asked him out. And I asked him if he'd go see the Fred Flintstones movie with me. Our parents agreed, and my mom came, and I was so deeply embarrassed and mortified that she wanted to be there on my first date with the love of my life. I asked her to sit as many rows back as she possibly could to give us our privacy. And she said, Jessica, I can't let you go to this this film by yourself. You're 6 years old. What if you get kidnapped? And I said, Mom, please, I got this. I think that is the nature of the lover. I think when we are a lover, we fall for love as much and as often as we possibly can. And we go for it with our entire hearts and our entire souls. I actually believe that the lover archetype is something that's passed down through our lineage. When I look at my mother and my grandmother and my father, to me, they're all lovers and they express it in their own ways and they have their own complex love stories, as each and every single one of us does. And I might not be a lover in the way that they are lovers, but there was a sense that to love freely is what mattered most. In my family culture, you love who you love. And this is very emblematic of my ancestors. My grandmother married a black man in the 70s up north, which at the time was still very taboo, and often they experienced a lot of racism. My father is from Lebanon and is Muslim and immigrated over here to go to college and married my, at the time, secular mother. Um, so my my lineage is imbued with the idea that you love who you love, and the heart can't help that. And ain't that the truth? So when we go to look at Venus in the birth chart, we begin to see where she most wants to come alive in our life. For me, in the ninth house in Sagittarius, I found the love of my life, Travis, in academia, in higher education. The ninth house is about higher education. I was literally, both of us were going to grad school. He was going to the California Institute of Integral Studies. I had done my undergrad there. I was TAing there. And then I went on to Pacifica Graduate Institute, where I got my master's in depth psychology and counseling. And um, we actually met in the setting of the ninth house. It was higher education, but it was also philosophy. We were in the philosophy, cosmology, and consciousness department, which is deeply esoteric and spiritual, right? It's about a spiritual worldview that archetypal astrology and archetypal cosmology bring forward. And that was the setting. That was literally the ninth house realm or setting or stage upon which our love story came alive. You add in the fact that Travis also has his Venus in his ninth house, though in Taurus. So it made sense that there was this mutual meeting within the realm of the ninth house. And our love story continues within the realm of the ninth house. What do? We co teach through Trust Psyche School of Astrology and Depth Psychology. We teach astrology. He's a professional counseling astrologer. And I am now living my whole life helping people in relationship through individual and couples counseling. My entire life is about love and relationship. And that is a very Venus in the ninth house in Sagittarius thing to have. But my Venus is also trine Mars, and Mars Venus is the archetype of the dance or the dancer. And so our very early courtship mostly happened on the dance floor. Travis would be out there dancing, and I'd be out there dancing till 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the morning. And he would be DJing all of my favorite songs. And of course, he's a musician. Often lovers are, right? Lovers are filled with passion. They're musicians, they're dancers, they're artists. And I don't identify with the archetype of artist personally, but I do deeply identify with the archetype of lover. And a lover is someone who passionately makes love moment to moment throughout all of their life. So here is my lover, Travis, but so are all of you. So is astrology, right? When I love from that place of that fire, Venus, and that depth of wanting to explore and understand the cosmos, right? My love of astrology is a ninth house in Sag Venus, love of exploration, of the deep mysteries of the universe, ever expanding greater and greater and greater, right? There's no limit to that exploration, which deeply fulfills Venus for me. So the more that I pursue her erotically, the more she blossoms and opens me into her greatest secrets. When we tune into a planetary archetype, we want to tune into their vibrational essence. And Venus is about magnetism, right? It's a magnetic quality. So, what that tells us about love is that when you do what you love and you pursue what you love, what you truly love, what do you find? You find more love. I am a deep, deep, deep believer from my experience and what I've seen with other people that if you are looking for love, if you are looking for your lover, you do what you love and the lover will be revealed because Venus is a flower that blossoms. And in order for a flower to blossom, what does it need? It needs to be rooted in the earth, it needs nutrients and water and sunlight. You are, through your embodied experience of pursuing what you love, the rootedness of the flower, the water that makes it grow, and the sunlight that makes it open each day. So, by you magnetically following your eros and your passion, naturally the blossoming open of love happens. Love begets love. It's a generative force. Venus, in her nature, is generative. So, the more you love, the more love there is. And in the pursuit of your love, in what you love, by doing what you love, and we can see that in the birth chart, you find more love, including with partners or lovers or marriage, however that is for you. So when people come to me, which is probably one of the most important vital questions a lot of us have is I want love, or how do I find love, or how do I get more love? How do I get more connection? These are all Venus things. I look at their chart and I say, well, are you living into this placement? Let's say your Venus is in the third house, all right, ruled by Gemini. And let's say that you have always wanted to write. I would ask you, are you writing? Are you writing your story? Are you showing up in writers' groups? Are you reading your poetry? Are you making yourself some way visible and exposed in the realm of the third house to activate Venus? And so that you can have the stage set, we have to participate, right? We have to show up to the set. Like the play can't happen if we don't go to the curtain call. That's how it works, right? Or your Venus is in the third house and you're a primary school teacher and you find love because you finally let yourself be that kindergarten teacher you always wanted to be. And then you go to your first day of school and you fall in love with a coworker. Oh, what do you know? So when we look at other aspects of Venus, like let's say with her planetary placements and she's with Pluto. Let's say Venus is with Pluto in your chart. Then I would say you're probably going to experience and discover love in a way that is deeply sexual. Maybe you are going to find the love of your life, and it's going to be this scandalous taboo story of they're already married and have children, and how could you be that homewrecker? But that can be one expression of how Venus Pluto finds love. So from the perspective of the lover archetype, or from the perspective of Venus, it is actually a judgment-free neutral zone. There is no value judgment to love. Who we love, how we love, and where we find it. You hear stories all the time of people who have affairs and find the love of their life and are willing to follow them to the ends of the earth and wipe their life clean in order to actually get to experience this, even though they were married or they had children or yada, yada, yada. But that is very likely a Venus-Pluto way of finding love. Or maybe at a sex party, right? Like that would be a very fitting thing. Or maybe on Halloween and you're both dressed like vampires and you end up necking and biting each other all night. Like that is where Venus Pluto lives. That's where it exists. I just had friends fall in love and get married recently. And my friend has Venus Uranus. And where did they fall in love? On Instagram. Uranus, technology. And what were they doing? Astrology, Venus, Uranus, the lovers, the astrological lovers that fell in love through technology against all odds, serendipitously, unexpectedly. It's wild, it's crazy. That is a Venus Uranus way to fall in love. So the signature of Venus in your birth chart is the love letter to you from the cosmos to say, hey, remember who you are and remember how you find that. I'm a kind of person who loves with my heart and my soul. I can't help but be deeply impassioned in all that I do. And I know that the person I need to be with also has to love at that level, right? So oftentimes when you are a lover, you have to be with another person who's a lover. And Travis is just that. He is a lover. He loves as much and as wide and as deep as I do with everything he does. And you can feel it, you can taste it, right? As Mozart in the Jungle says, play with the blood. To be a lover is to be ensouled. It's to come from a soulful place. And you feel that when he plays the bass or the guitar or sings a song or reads your chart. Because he brings that eros, he brings that love of Venus into, as a channel, every single thing he does and creates with. Because Venus is about creation and collaboration. And you are always one end of that creation and that collaboration. And so if you are a lover, then you must be with a lover. And if you are not a lover and you want to be a lover, you can try it out. But the requirement of doing that is taking the greatest risk we can ever take, which is to love and have no idea how it's going to turn out. And I find that where most people get stuck is in that fearful place that if they love with their open heart, they are going to be hurt. I have been brokenhearted so many times in my life. So much of my story is about my broken heart. I do not think we can find love in whatever form it is for you without experiencing brokenheartedness. And I'm going to share some wisdom that Travis has shared with me, which is, as a man who has loved many women all around the world through his travels as a musician, all the different communities that he's lived in France or Thailand or up north in New England or in San Francisco, right? He would be willing to constantly have his ego hurt in order to pursue love. And by that, I mean, he was willing to ask you, hey, would you like to go have a drink with me? Hey, would you like to go home with me tonight? Hey, would you like to have a torrid 2-week romance before I have to leave? That level of honesty and that level of vulnerability and that courage to put yourself out there and to be told no, or I don't know, or whatever it is, again and again and again. And I see that if you're willing to do that, the odds work out because love begets love. So when the lover comes through and puts down their ego and says, hey, I just want to be with you, what do you say? The more you do that, the greater your odds are that that magnetism of that mutual attraction of Venus will show up for you. Because that's how it works. That's the buy-in. Every single planet has a buy-in, a requirement of initiation of your participation for it to open its gates to you. And Venus's requirement is that you pursue what you love and what you find beautiful and what you desire with an open heart. And we all know that when your heart is open, everything gets in, including pain and hurt. But the lover knows that that is the most worthwhile price to pay to get to have true love. And so it becomes a question. Are you willing to do what it takes to open up that placement of Venus in your life, in your chart, for that love to grow and generate? Because what happens is when we're able to do that romantically, erotically, in partnership, whatever that way looks to you, monogamy, polyamory, whatever that is, then all of a sudden you get more Venus everywhere. You get more love and more beauty, more meaningful relationships and connection and creativity and abundance because of the generativity of what Venus brings once we enter into her domain, which are deeper and greater levels of pleasure. And we see that sexually, right? Like the deeper we can go with someone, the safer we feel, and the more open we become sexually, the better our orgasms become. The more we're able to let go, the more we're able to blossom and open and gush and do all of those things that you get when you go deeper into love, when you go deeper into Venus. And so, in that way, it's a profound surrenderance. She is the yin principle of how we open to receive. And it becomes about the art of receiving. And we get to receive more love and more pleasure simply by following the allurement of her calling. As a siren, as a muse, please let me hear your siren call. I will do whatever it takes to listen to that because I so deeply trust the universe. I so deeply trust that placement in my birth chart that that was the exact medicine that I needed in order to get to be in love. The lover gets to have fun every single day of their life. The lover knows that no matter what happens in life, everything's okay because they have love. And so the worst days no longer are the in days. And I know what courage and vulnerability it takes to open oneself to love. And know how terrifying it is to be authentically ourselves and share from our heart. I ask my husband all the time, do you still like me? Do you think I'm beautiful? Do you still love me? And every time he's right there with the best yes possible that I could hear. And when I meditate or reflect on the fact that we're going to die, that he's going to die, that I'm going to die, that we're not going to get to physically be together anymore in this particular form, I sometimes just like break down crying into grief. And then I use that and fold it back into myself and open my heart even more. Right? Shatter my heart so I may love more deeply. That is the path of Venus, one way or another, however that is for you. So I'm going to end with this. You are all cordially invited to my birthday party on January 7th. I'm turning 36. I would love for you to be there. The link on Zoom is on the homepage of trustpsyche.com or below in this video. And I also would absolutely be delighted if you want to come and study astrology with us, be a part of our community and our family here at Trust Psyche. Travis and I, in beautiful ninth house Venus fashion, are going to be co-teaching aspects in astrology, sacred geometry. And we would love for you to be there live with us or take the recorded version. You can sign up now at trustpsyche.com/astrology courses or /aspects. And yeah, get to be a part of our love story and the co-creation of our Venusian magic. And I will say this, that after seeing Travis officiate a wedding this past year for our dear friends, I now see what the magic of love is. And my favorite part about love is that the magic that's in it is available to all of us at any time. as long as we believe and we open to it. And something that I love to do on anniversaries or on birthdays is for um, part of my wish and part of my love magic is to grant everybody else's wishes. So, um, yeah, come be part of our love and let's make more love together. And I absolutely hope that wherever your Venus is in your chart and whatever story she wants to do with you, that and wherever you're at in that relationship, that in this moment, you in some way deepen into that and take a greater step toward her. In my experience, we take one step toward her, she takes 10 toward us. So that's also the beauty of her generativity and of her unconditional love is it doesn't take a lot on our part to get a really nice, loving response from her. All right, everyone. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, like it, leave a comment. I always love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have a good holiday season, and I will see you all next time. All right. Ciao, everyone.